What's up, comic book fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, the co-host of the Emerald Echo podcast. Here with a look at the Mattel DC Multiverse action figure of Green Lantern, Jessica Cruz. So let's have a look at one still mint in packaging here. You get this beautiful artwork of Jessica to varying degrees of close-ups on the side. I do appreciate that. Of course, it says DC Multiverse, Jessica Cruz. There's the DC logo. And this is part of the Clayface wave, and you can kind of see, it's really difficult to see. That's the Clayface leg in there. And I really did like these. They were only on the market for a short time before McFarlane took the license over. On the back, there is the completed Clayface and the various other figures that are available in this wave. You also get this brief bio of Jessica Cruz in 4 different languages. If you'd like to read that, go ahead and pause the video and read it now. So here we have Jessica Cruz out of the package and ready to rumble. I don't have a lot of negatives to say about this figure. I do have one criticism, but I was just really happy to get Jessica Cruz in this scale. There still aren't a lot of Jessica Cruz figures out there, so I was very excited to get this, especially since all of the DC Multiverse figures from Mattel dried up very quickly, and unfortunately, they're actually really expensive now. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and take a look at the details of this figure, this release from Mattel. In case you're wondering, this is an old DC Direct peg base. I don't want to mislead anybody. This does not come with the figure. This was just an extra one that I had, and I use it to pose Jessica on it. In terms of what does come with the figure, you get this personal power battery, which I think overall it's really well done. I like the size. I like the fact that the handle moves. That's really cool. I do appreciate the paint job. I like the fact that the middle is a different color. I think it could have been like opaque, you know, to symbolize energy within the personal power battery. But nonetheless, I like the fact that it is different. So I think overall, this is a really good effort from Mattel. We also get these 4 different energy bands that come with the figure. And with each of these bands, what you do is you just kind of snake them around the limbs. And this does look nice. I like the idea of her just kind of being wreathed in power. I think it is a nice look. However, I've never been able to get them to stay very long. So let's take a closer look at the other details of this figure now. So let's take a look at the lower extremities here. I think overall Mattel did a really good job. I would have preferred some molding here at the top of the boot instead of just differentiation in paint, but it is really well done. Granted, it's just basic black and white, but it still looks good. You do get some ankle articulation. I don't want to be too forceful with this, but again, you can see that it does move. And overall, I think this figure is very sturdy, and that's a big deal to me. A lot of figures, when you take them out of the package, there's nothing worse than to be excited about a figure and then you can't get it to stand. But in her case, it's really well done. I like this hinge joint here instead of the, you know, the double pegs that are exposed. I like the way that they did this. That looks really good. You also get this swivel here on the thigh. So it's very easy to get this figure to stand and to get her into dynamic poses. In terms of the torso, I think it looks pretty good overall. The paint application is very tight. I do like the lines on that. Comic accurate, I will say that. I think the Green Lantern logo looks good. You do get good articulation here just below the breastbone. However, there's no articulation here, and I really think they could have used like a swivel to help her turn a little bit, because this looks kind of weird when you do it this way, because this line right here no longer lines up. So that would have been something that would have been nice had we had a little bit of swiveling down there, but that's a minor criticism. On the back here, same deal. You know, I'm not really on board with all this back here. You know, the all the stamping back there. I mean, it is underneath the hair. That's a bit of an eyesore, but again, it's underneath the hair, so at least you don't have to see it. So overall, I think that the torso is really well done. Taking a look at the arm here, I think overall it's really well done. The left arm here has this gripping hand, And you do get the hinge here. That's pretty good. I appreciate the trim on the glove. You get good movement in the elbow. I certainly appreciate that. Although I do think this figure could have used a bicep swivel. Also here, the shoulder joint, I really wish that this whole section would have been green. It looks a little weird when you go to articulate it and you get this black section here. As far as the right arm, again, pretty much the same. In terms of the ring, I think it's pretty well done. I think maybe it could have been a tad bigger. You do get the Green Lantern logo. Let me see if I can get a closer shot here. So here is that close-up of the ring, and I think it could have been maybe molded just a little bit more raised away from the finger, and the paint applications done a little bit better. But this must have been a difficult assignment because you're working with such a small area with this hand that maybe this is the best that they could have done, but I would have preferred it to be just a little bit more pronounced on the finger. One of the strengths of this figure is the head sculpt, and you can see that here. Got great coloring on the lips there. They're very reflective. I like that. Good coloring on the skin. Certainly like these white eyes. I think they look really good for Jessica in this case. I like how the lantern symbol has been overlaid over her eye. Of course, that is something that's a unique characteristic for Jessica. The hair, very well done. I like the sculpting. I like this blue wash that has been given over it. One thing I will say, though, I think that it puts stress on the peg joint if you try to articulate the head too much. I don't do that because I just fear maybe breaking that joint somehow. Again, I don't know. If you're someone who does stop motion or you really like to get characters in dynamic poses, be aware of that the hair, it may be something that could damage the joint if you try to articulate the head too much. So that's about as far as I've ever tried to get the head with this figure. But nonetheless, for me, that's not a problem. I just think this head sculpt is very well done. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. Remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast, available right here on YouTube, where we cover all the happenings in the Marvel and DC universes and beyond, including the exploits of your favorite ring slingers, the Green Lantern Corps, on the Emerald Echo podcast. And I'll be back to the internet with more comic book related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.